She doesn't want kids, and that's okay. Episode number 106. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Keep It 100 moment. I'm your host, Nina Babel, and you know people, I keep it 100. Today is WTF. That's What the Friday super short episode where Nina shares her keeping it real moment, WTF style. If this is your first time listening, today this is how it works. It's a special 10-15 minute mini where you're going to get some Nina girl love. Right? It's a mini reminder to all you women out there who don't have kids, you're in your 30s, and you're freaking out because that clock is ticking, there's no man in sight, and you know what? It doesn't look good. But who cares? That's the whole point. Who cares? Yes, this is a sensitive topic. You know us girls, when we get sensitive, it's the hormones, it's the mood swings, it's all up in the mix too. And according to society, by definition, we are supposed to act this way. For this episode, we're those so-called baby-hungry beings, or at least that's what society says that we're supposed to be. The most personal and embarrassing, and in some cases, painful questions when you reach that point in your life is, do you have kids? It just sounds off an alarm that hits a nerve. Then you know what? The subtle embarrassment, it kicks in with a vengeance. It's circumstantial. It's private. Maybe she's infertile. Biologically, it's just not possible. Maybe it's a reproductive thing. The clock has stopped ticking. No one told her that it's too late or she won't have any good eggs left by the time she's 35. Maybe she had an abortion. Maybe it was an unexpected pregnancy. Or lastly, maybe she just took Plan B. These are all the reasons why she doesn't, may not, or cannot have kids. Meet Jessica. She's an entrepreneur in her late 30s and single. This is relevant because, like most women out there, she describes the responsibility and all the reward of not having kids. Safe to say, Jessica represents a percentage of the mindset out there of women who are okay with not having children, and she shares with us her why. She's secure enough in her decision not to allow others to pressure her. And you know what? She encourages you listening to live your life on your own terms. So look, it's inevitable, right? As you get into your late 20s and you evolve, whether it's in your career or your singlehood, and you're looking and you're single, looking to mingle and all that, your mind starts shifting. It shifts gears. And as you adjust to the reality and let go of the hope that it might not happen, you will start getting either more uncomfortable or more comfortable. But Jessica's not as focused on having children anymore. At least that's the point of no return that she's come to. Or it's not on her radar. But listen, she does mourn the fact that she won't have the same experience as many other women out there, and her grandmother, her mother, her sisters. That she's not going to have that experience of being a mother, being pregnant, and going through all the 9 months, the labor, like everyone else out there. But there's trade-offs, and I'll let Jessica tell you what those are.
I guess right now I'm not as focused on it. Maybe I should be. I don't know. I mean, I'm totally fine with not having children. That's something that I've spoken a lot about in my family, that I'm like, don't expect me to have grandchildren because at this point that's not something that's on my radar. And so if I found somebody, great. If I don't feel like I'm living any sort of, a life that's incomplete either. So I've kind of resolved it that way in my mind.
Jessica wanted to have children, but the race against the clock is the race that we're all fighting, right? We're all looking to make that finish line to have kids. But in her case, the clock killed it. Life events and dating the wrong guys is a common theme for every woman out there. So now this is where she is in her life. It's not a burning desire. Frankly, it's not even a priority for her anymore.
I think both. I think it's a little, so in my 20s when I was dating that one guy for a longer, that longer term relationship ended up ending, I really wanted to have children. And I was very upfront with him that I wanted to have children. But I don't know if that was desire was because everybody else I knew was getting married and having kids. And like I told you, I'm a little bit of a free spirit in some ways, in that I kind of don't do things, I don't go through the same steps in life that everybody else has to an extent. And then I got into my 30s, and then I moved down here to Florida, and I was taking care of my grandparents, so I obviously wasn't dating. And then after that, I was kind of dating, but I wasn't meeting guys that I really thought that highly of, or that I thought were high quality. And so when I started getting in my mid-30s, I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to have kids, I definitely need to start dating and find somebody now. And it wasn't a priority. And now it still isn't a priority for me. But I think in a way, being the oldest of such a large family, I feel like I've been a parent already in a way. I shouldn't say that, because I'm sure some people will be like, you don't know what it is to be a parent. Okay, I get that, but trust me, I've done a lot at being a kid, and where I was very responsible in taking care of everyone. I remember there were 2 different weeks my parents had to go and look for a new home in a new city, and they left me at home with 4 of my siblings, and I was 16 years old taking care of all of them. Wow. So I was super, I definitely was like a parent. So I just don't feel like I have that in me. I think there's this weird thing I'm going through right now where I'm okay with not having children, but I also kind of mourn the fact that I'm never going to have that same experience as my sisters or my other girlfriends that, have kids.
Right.
So it's this really weird battle that goes back and forth. But at the end of the day, I'm still happy with my life.
Her life circumstances had some influence on her decision, like all of us. But in this clip, Jessica shares her responsibility. The responsibilities she's always had as the first and as the eldest child. And if you're one of them, you can relate.
I know, but I don't have that much of an urge to get on that though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My friends are like, well, if you really wanted to have, you could adopt, and I said, you know what? I don't even have it enough in me to want to do that. So to me, it's not something that is an urgency for me.
Yeah.
It really isn't. I filled my life with a lot of other things that I'm excited about doing and participating in, so I don't feel like I need to have that.
Technically, Jessica still has some gas left in the tank. Come on. You're in your late 30s. We all know you do have a window. Yes, there's a lot of risk associated. The chances are less. But the option is this. You can still try. But with a quickness, when I asked Jessica, she shares, look, this is not an urgency with her. I'm good. I'm real good. The shop is closed, in fact.
I don't know if I'm wired for it, to be a parent. I love babysitting and I love children, but I don't know if I'm wired. That is a big responsibility, and I don't think a lot of people think about that until after they have kids and they're like, whoa, this is way more than I thought it was going to be.
Whether or not women choose to have kids is really no one's business. But that doesn't stop people, right? Whether they're a stranger, whether it's family, whether it's friends, they're going to constantly ask the annoying question. And yes, it's annoying because you're already sensitive, right? And then we're hormonal on top of that. And then we feel the pressure. Then we have it self-inflicted pressure. And then, it completes you as a woman and you feel like you're not complete. And then you hear comments like, but oh, you would have made such a good mother. Oh, you don't have kids. Or you don't know what it is to be a parent. And that is the most condescending comment you can make to any woman of any age. I don't care. I get it. I get this a lot. And frankly, sometimes even from my exes, which I find even more annoying. Ugh. But you know what? the hope is this: there's still other ways to influence and have an influence on kids. Whether it's your godchildren, your friends' children, nieces, nephews you adopt, it still has the same effect. Yes, it's not from your womb, but you're influencing and you have an impact on a child's life. You may not have had these thoughts when you were playing with your Barbie growing up, looking at bridal magazines with your BFF, while you were battling against the biological clock that you lost. Or maybe is it that picket fence that's still staring at you? Life doesn't have a checklist, and you're not a failure if you don't hit all the bullet points. Because you know what? Life is going to happen not as planned. And sometimes you're going to have to make those shifts in gears to adjust to the reality of it. So what's your why? And that's my Keep It 100 moment. I hope I kept it real. You know I kept it true.
Nina's purpose is to empower women to celebrate women's embarrassing moments. If you're too shy, nervous, or embarrassed to ask about sensitive girly stuff, you're in the right place.
And I want you guys to enjoy your weekend. Smooches!